Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and today is Roni's 2K subby celebratory hop. So this is her layout I'm scraplifting today. I love Roni so much. She's an amazing human being. She's the sweetest person, and she is so funny. I love sitting there and watching her process video because you really just feel like you're hanging out with a friend, and she always makes me giggle. I love her. I love her so much, and she's always been so supportive of me, and I definitely wanted to play along to celebrate her 2,000 subscribers because that's an awesome benchmark, and I'm so proud of her. So I decided to scrap lift that layout of hers you saw in the beginning. So I'm just trying to get my base layers together. She had 3 different papers pretty much making up her layout. She had the large 12 by 12 and then kind of 2 solids that were matted together. So I'm just trying to create the same look here, but I'm really trying to pull in colors that go with my Felicity Jane collection. So I decided to pull in a pink wood grain. This paper is super cool. It's another one my mom gave me in my wood grain stash that she gave me for my birthday. And I thought this pink wood grain would go really, really cool because I have some pinks left over for from my kit for this month for How to Kill a Kit with Style. So I really kind of wanted to set the tone. I'm pulling in some pinks, and then I'm just using some black and white to create those other 2 layers. I really wanted white to be the main background that all my layers go on, and I really like the bold impact of the black around that. So I'm just going to try and create the same layout she did. She had this vertical 4x6, so I dug one out of Billy. I really wanted a photo that had green in it because there's a lot of ephemera in this collection that have green that don't really go with the Rebecca collection, but we're in my Madison die cuts, so I'm still trying to get them used up, and I think maybe if my photo has green in them, I'll be more likely to use these green ephemera bits that have been sitting around all month being ignored. So I decided my light wood grain would be my first mat around my photo. She's kind of double matted her photo, and then she's got a really fun long banner coming out horizontally and then kind of a square layer behind that with some really cool vertical embellishment from all of her die cuts. Roni's like the queen of die cuts. She always keeps me supplied with really fun pieces. I'm gonna make sure to pull one of my favorites in from her on this layout as well, but I love how she composed this whole page, and I couldn't create quite the layery embellishment look she did because she just had all these really cool die cuts she paired together, but I'm going to try and give you that same vibe with the products I have to work with for this month. So just trying to get the main layers down. I love this soft wood grain, and so I decided to do the multicolored floral as the larger mat behind that. That kind of introduces all of the color, and then from there I'll pull in some other pieces of paper. I have to be a little bit frugal here because obviously this month I'm working with 6x6 papers, so I had to be a little bit strategic about how I was going to mat this 4x6 photo. So I just tried to piece together my mat here, and because this floral is kind of a busy floral, I don't think you can really see the join that much, but because Roni has this vertical area of embellishment, I'm just thinking that I'll have some of my ephemera and embellishment cover up the seam just to make sure you don't notice it. So that was kind of my thought process, and now I'm trying to figure out which paper I want to do for the vertical, or I keep mixing up my horizontal and verticals this month, but this horizontal banner, which I love. I love banners on layouts, and so I was all about this layout when I saw her make it. I'm trying to get my spacing right to see how wide I want this scrap, and I also know I want this scrap to stretch behind my layers to the left side as well, so I just wanted to make sure I had enough for that to proportionally look correct. So now that I have that down and got that piece glued to the left, I'm going to cut this into a fishtail banner and glue that to the right, and then I'll pretty much have my horizontal layers, and I will need to start working vertically. So just getting my fishtail down, and once again this month I started the page by not inking, and then I noticed that Roni inked her page, and I really like how that looked, and I've liked inking this month. So again, I went back and decided to ink all of my layers after the fact. I really don't know why I keep doing this to myself. I should just ink from the beginning, because lately I've changed my mind halfway through and decided to go back and ink everything after I glued down all these pieces. So it is what it is. But I'm trying to get all of that down. Definitely wanted to ink the background too to pull some of that kind of black look to the edge, especially because I have this bold black layer in the middle. But I like how the black edges just look so much better with these papers. So I'm glad I decided to go back and do that. And now I want to work on the vertical areas of embellishment. I really want to pull in some of these floral pieces, one because they have the green, but also because I haven't used them all month, because a lot of the Madison die cut set goes really, really well with the Rebecca collection, but for whatever reason, these florals, I just feel like they weren't going with the pages I had created so far. So it just took me, it took me until this page to be like, get some of the florals on there. And I still wish I had gotten more florals than I did get used up on here, but I tried. I got some of them, so I'll be happy with that. I had a scrap of the light wood grain paper that I matted the photo in, so I wanted to pull more of that paper in, so I decided to trim that into one of the tags. So I'm kind of making that pattern be top and bottom vertically too, so that will look basically like a really long tag. And then this film strip is one of the things that Roni sent me in the last time she sent me Happy Mail, and I think it adds such a cool look to your layouts. I love pulling these things in, especially because I always take pictures of Billy, so my film strip in my camera is just like Billy, 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 Billy. Especially this time of, like, when I took this photo was when I was in college and I wasn't scrapbooking, and I only ever took pictures of Billy. So I thought it was appropriate, and she used this actual die cut in her original, so I really thought it would be a nice nod to her to use it on mine as well. So that's definitely getting in on my layers. I'm going to go ahead and glue down the wood grain bit, and you'll see where I kind of took a strip of that, and I'll stretch it to the bottom of my page too. So it looks like one long tag, and that right away gives you that long vertical base for the embellishment I'm wanting to add. And here I am again fighting with some more of these ephemera bits that I'm really being stubborn and wanting to get on here, and they're just not working. So I play around a lot with the ephemera to try to get them on here, but I have to edit. I know for sure this film strip's getting on here, so at this point I'm ignoring the ephemera and just doing what I know I'm gonna do. So I'm not just gonna stare at everything, not making a move. So I'm going to end up trimming this film strip into 3 areas just to create a visual triangle. On Roni's layout, she's got this film strip running vertically to the left with all of her embellishment, and then she's got this like viewfinder reel to the right on her banner. And I decided, instead of doing the film reel, like the viewfinder reel to the right, I was going to do this film strip in those 3 areas. That way it creates a visual triangle. I just didn't have another one of those pieces that she used on hers, but I really like how this film strip looked. So I kind of substituted that out. But I think that looks so cute. I just love how these little film strips look running behind your layers. I think it's just so adorable. And I'm being strategic with that too. The edge of that film strip is running over the seam of that floral mat that I had to piece together, so you can't see where I had to kind of Frankenstein that paper layer. So I have that down, and this is where I decide to add it to the right here. And I love doing this with die cuts too. I really get a lot of mileage out of what she sends me, because I always save what's going to be hidden so I can use it in multiple spots. And that really helps her Happy Meal go a long way when I can take one piece and use it in 3 different areas. But that looks so cool to me. I love it. I just think it creates that visual triangle and that interest. And here I am again with this big floral die cut piece. I really wanted to use it there, and for whatever reason it just wasn't working. So I play around with these florals for for a minute. I really think, okay, I'll have this big floral die cut here, and then I'll use the rest of the florals in my other 2 clusters. And I really, really wanted to do that, especially because in Roni's layout she has all these different layered leaves and florals and botanicals in her cluster. So I really thought that was a literal way I could lift her original. But this big piece here was looking too clunky, and I just felt like now I'm looking at it, it really doesn't look bad. I totally could have done that. But I ended up changing gears because at the time when I was making it, I just felt like it wasn't looking right. So yeah, I end up changing gears and just pulling all the solid green pieces together. So there's a green banner, a green heart, a green and white striped label, and these green little sprigs. And I feel like instead of trying to do these multicolor florals, because that was another thing, I kind of felt like the florals were too much of a different style than the floral pattern paper that's matting my photo, I decided to kind of change gears and just use a different part of my ephemera baggie. So instead of using these big florals, I'm just going to get these green pieces used up. I do get one floral used, and then I get the 2 green sprigs used, but it takes me a minute to kind of figure that out. But this is where I change gears. I'm like, okay, so if I'm not going to do the big floral over here, I definitely want more embellishment. So I pull in the green and white label and the green heart. I really like how those look layered up. I love this cutie little pink heart tab, so I tuck that at the top part of the cluster, and then I really want to get the green sprigs on here too, so it takes me a minute to kind of find those and figure out where they're going to go to, but I'm slowly figuring it out. I figured I have 2 green sprigs. I'll have one at the top and one at the bottom of this vertical area of embellishment. And then I still had the green and white polka dot banner, so I decided to layer that up behind the other tab with the green heart to kind of create that layery look. And I really like how that looks. It's a different look than what I initially thought I was going to go for, but I got this ephemera part used up from my kit, and I'm happy about that. I'm using a lot of the greens I've been avoiding all month, so I am content. I know that there's a page that I can get all these florals on together and they look really, really cute, so I'm not worried about them being left over if they are left over at the end of the month. But for whatever reason, I just feel like they wouldn't go with this collection, even though I know in theory they should have. I'm looking for like one more thing to have in the embellishment area to the bottom here. I really am just in love with Roni's original and how much layering she did that I really wanted to kind of do more. But I am kind of at the end of my kit for this month. I'm really wanting to stick with the products I had, so I'm okay keeping mine more minimalistic. It's Felicity Jane anyways. I always say I like my Felicity Jane layouts to be a little bit more minimalistic, so I'm okay. I love her layery look, and I really wanted to mimic that, but I am really in love with how this page ends up, so I'm still happy with my lift. And hopefully you're proud of me, Roni, because I loved your original, and I hope I did you justice. I did squeeze this one floral die cut on here because I feel like the colors in that one went really well with the photo. So I did squeeze the one. And I feel like that's not as distracting as the floral clusters. But I'm getting pretty much the things I already had stuck down. I forgot to mention I did thread my tag with some black and white twine, and then I will go in again with the Jenny Black Puffy Alphas. I really like how this alphabet looks with all of these collections. I feel like you can use that alphabet on every page, but I definitely wanted to get a title on here too. This is just at the dog park. This is pretty much Billy and Mai's routine. We would go to school in the morning, we'd be done by lunch, and we would go to the dog park while I studied. So that was basically our routine. Oh, I did forget, I was looking, I was like, why did her layers look so much more full than mine? And it's because I forgot she had this one extra layer behind her photo. So I did just go in and add this gray and white lace print. And I feel like that helps beef up my clusters too. I really like the addition of that one little piece. So I just have to kind of pull up my my stuff I have glued down to tuck it down, but I think that looks really cute. Yeah, that changed the whole layout for me, adding that one extra pattern paper. But yeah, this was the dog park, so I decided I was gonna like title it dog park or something, but I really wanted a small word that can kind of sit on this wood grain tag at the top. So I decided just to write play because it fit there perfectly and it wasn't too distracting, but I like the addition of the black up there. It really helps kind of tie in the black photo strips and the black bold mat around this white piece of paper. So that's what I decided to do. And then since I had my alphabets out, there's a whole row of really cute black puffy hearts at the bottom of my alpha set, so I end up pulling those in too. So once I finally get all these die cuts glued down, they come up and get glued down multiple times as I keep adding things, but I think now our layers are done and now I can kind of do my title. So I decided to do play. I'm really trying to be frugal with these alphas too. I have 2 sets of these. I really don't have to be, but I want to get as many alphabets out of this sheet as possible. So I'm trying to do small word, either small word titles or if they are going to be longer, have them use not all the most popular letters. But here I'm going in with the puffy hearts. I think that was the perfect finishing touch to finish out this layout. Instead of doing wood veneer or enamel dots, just having clusters of these little puffy hearts from the alpha sheet. And I think that is also nice. It helps balance the texture of the puffy title. I think it's adorable. So that's pretty much it though. I do a little bit of journaling to the right underneath the banner that just says playing at the dog park, just so I could mention that we were at the dog park and that's what we were doing. But the close-ups will be here in a minute. Make sure you guys check out the description. We have a whole bunch of people playing along scraplifting Roni to celebrate her 2,000 subscriber benchmark. Congratulations, Roni. I love you so much, and I hope you enjoy all the layouts of people celebrating your awesome skills. I'll see you guys in the next process video, and thank you for watching. Bye.